Lima wanted accountability. Lima's holding people accountable. He's holding people's feet to the friggin' fire, man. I love it. I love it. I like it when you get excited.
Well,
I like it when you get worked up. This is good stuff.
I've definitely seen, there's been some pushback, guys on X, like, Ben, guys, come on, who cares? It doesn't matter. Getting mad at press conferences is so forced and performative.
It's not, because we never do it.
Ben, I never do it. I've not done it all year. We barely play the press conferences because they're so irrelevant. But then I watch other teams, and I watch other leaders in their press conferences, and I'm like, some of it translates to other walks of life, right? And when I saw Mike Tomlin, that's really what it was. I saw Mike Tomlin basically in one emotion and in less than 4 words, you could tell that, yes, he was disgusted with how his quarterback played, and that's Aaron Rodgers. And he wasn't worried in any way, Mike Tomlin, about hurting his quarterback's feelings. And then you immediately went to, we were giving out game balls to Deshaun Watson for horrible games.
Which is usually your line.
Yeah, horrible games, and he got a game ball. And it's like, do you think Mike Tomlin would do that? And I do think there's a difference. I do think, yes, the press conference, by and large, you don't hire and fire coaches based on the press conference. That's silly. Famously, we've had some guys win press conferences when they get hired and then be total calamitous mistakes. And then the opposite, you've seen guys fumble through their introductory press conference. So I get to
the point where a lot of guys, we thought that they lost press conference. Like we were like, oh, we have plenty of experience with these terrible coaches like Mike Pettin, who ended up being a decent coach. He just was in over his head. But like when Dan Campbell had his first press conference, we're like, oh boy.
And everyone's like, that's a bad coach. That guy's going to be terrible.
When Nick Sirianni had his first, oh boy. And it's like, no, they ended up being pretty good coaches.
Yeah, so
Dan Campbell's better than Nick, but you get what I'm saying.
It's not that Sirianni, if this show did this every time, if every single Monday after a Browns loss, we got up there and roasted Kevin for the press conference over the actual game, well, that's silly. Well, and we've never done that.
I would agree with Ben because I have heard many people play press conference and do outrage over press conferences. In 9 years, I think you could count on one finger the amount of times we've been outraged over a press conference, at least together. You've talked me off the, like, come on, Ken, it doesn't really matter. Come on. But like you and I, we've really not been, I do not remember a scenario where we have been that mad. I mean, I'm sure in 9 years it's happened one other time with one other coach. I can't imagine, though. I mean, 9 years, this is the first time in forever.
But what I'm saying,
we just don't do it.
Is we have a coach who's been here 6 years, who I can give you a list of things he's done really well. I people right now, because it's been 2 years of god-awfulness in 3 out of 4. Like, I understand that you roll your eyes. I know the afternoon show, they're catatonic anytime someone mentions that he won Coach of the Year twice. And I'm like, well, he did. You can't be like, well, I'm going to take the good things away.
But it's usually just because it's almost like a slap in the... It's almost a backhanded compliment.
Well, it's part of his resume.
That he's the head coach.
You don't get to just ignore the good parts of the resume. It's not like...
I understand that.
It's not like, you can go through and talk about, quarterbacks and be like, well, if you take out his 2 best years, he wasn't that good of a quarterback. Well, no. I mean, we're gonna go over the good things and the bad things. That's part of his resume. But what I'm saying is, it's been 6 years. I think Kevin, in those press conferences, it's actually pretty telling that doesn't seem like a guy where that whole locker room rallies around him, because the buck doesn't stop with Kevin. Like, Kevin, I think he just goes through the motions when he consistently says, it's on me, this is all on me, this is all me, I'm the coach, this on me. It's like nobody really believes that you believe that, because you're just one of those pull string dolls at this point.
Like my wife. Well, I guess I'm just the worst wife ever, aren't I? Well, no, I just said I can't find the other sock. That's all. That's all I was saying. Yeah, it's just my responsibility, isn't it? I just was saying, I know it's 4 a.m, but I can't find my other sock, and I want the socks to match. But when you're he's just not put in a good place. I'm sorry, when you're the only guy speaking, and you continuously say this,
and you say nothing.
You're gonna get mad if you don't give us any look into it. I can't understand you. I want to understand you.
Look at the players. Listen to the players. You never hear, and this is so different with Mike Vrabel, where everybody in the building in New England, they already know. You can hear it whenever other players. That's like, coach. They bring up the coach, what he expects from us. Same thing with Mike Tomlin. And again, that doesn't mean these guys are perfect coaches. I'm just saying there's different styles to this. But everybody in these buildings, though. Then there's like Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan doesn't have to lead with pounding the table and all that. But everybody knows. Everybody knows he's in charge. Does everybody know that with Kevin Stefanski? Does it feel like that whole building...
No, it feels like they've taken away power from him.
They rise and fall to the whims of the head coach. Like, no, that's not Kevin's style.
So let me do this. Like, this is, I want to understand him. This is why it's like, buddy, you got to open up. You got to open up. Because I do want to get that Orlovsky clip after this. Let me get 02 here. And this is standard fare Monday press conference now. Hit it.
With young quarterbacks, understanding that there's going to be ups and downs. Can Dylan play better? Yes, he can. Can we play better around him? Yes, we can. Can we coach him better? Yes, we can. So I understand the question, but I just trust that our young players at every position, and certainly at the quarterback position, are guys that are going to work their tails off to get better every single day.
Do I hate the rhetorical questions in the month of November? Yes, I do. Here is Dan Orlovsky yesterday, the NFL on ESPN. This is pregame, leading up to the Packers and Eagles last night. Go ahead and hit this.
The number one name that I would pay attention to if I were the Giants is what happens in Cleveland with Kevin Stefanski. Mm-hmm. If I could handpick a guy, it would be Stefanski. He's an outstanding coach, 2-time coach of the year. I understand people in Cleveland are like, this guy can't coach. There's a lot of empirical data we would say otherwise. This is a difficult spot for the Giants. I really believe that because there's no question you need to get a guy that's going to bring the best out of Jackson Dart, obviously. But it's also when the Giants have been at their best, it's been under like a coach like a Parcells or a Tom Coughlin, a defensive-minded, hard-nosed, disciplinarian, tough. It fits the culture. It's not just offensive-centric. So it's trying to find the balance. I would go Kevin Stefanski. I would go Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator of the Chargers. I would entertain John Gruden and maybe Matt Nagy, but Kansas City. But I would pay attention to see what's going on in Cleveland.
Real quick. None of those things are about accountability that we've ever talked about, so I don't understand that. The empirical, are you thinking the same thing with empirical?
No, I just was laughing at the mention of Jesse Minter, and someone is like, like kind of like, I'm on TV, I have to say something.
I didn't even notice
Jesse Minter.
The empirical evidence would be the scoreboard up there. Look, where's the tuna? There's the scoreboard up there. That's what it is. That's empirical.
I saw that, and obviously Browns fans, after 2 terrible years where they're one of the worst teams in football, 2 consecutive years, and the offense, something that he specializes in, is not just bad for this year. It's like all-time bad. Uh-huh. And we know all-time bad when we see it here in Cleveland because we've had some of the worst offenses in the history of football, modern-day football. I do think there is a thought, and I thought some of the losing would make some of this go away, would really hurt Kevin nationally with the perspective and the perception. I think just the perception is Kevin did not have anything to do with Deshaun Watson, and so they're in this rut, and it's the Browns, and it's Jimmy Haslam, and I do think that almost to this point, Stefanski is benefiting from that perception.
Then help me. Unless the only thing I can think of, and this is probably crazy, the only thing I can think of is that you don't want to be here anymore then. Help me understand you. Because they're putting you out there every single week. Nobody is coming to your rescue with this franchise. You're supposed to speak every single day, every like a few days a week, and after these games and all this stuff. You're out there having to speak for this franchise and answering questions flat out that you shouldn't have to answer. I can understand that, but the stuff that happens when you just say, well, we got to play better. Well, we got to do better. That doesn't help me. In fact, it makes me angry at you. Because Dan Orlovsky, I'm using Dan Orlovsky as an example, audio courtesy of ESPN. Dan Orlovsky's one piece, and I've had so many people. Kenny, they're both CAA guys. They're represented by the same agency. CAA has plenty of other coaches that they could certainly want to push into the Giants organization. That to me does not matter as much. There are plenty of people who think in the NFL who think Kevin knows what he's doing and thinks he's brilliant. Okay, well, if we're making the mistake of our lives, help me notice that. Help me. I don't want guys, if we're talking about easy stuff to do, it's easy to rant and rave against one particular person and say how bad that guy. It's easy to say how bad things are. It's hard to build. Just like any idiot can tear down a football team, any idiot can say a coach needs to be fired. It takes no skill whatsoever. That's why I hate doing it. That's why I don't want to do it. It's too easy. But any idiot can do it. Help me understand why we'd be making a terrible mistake. Please. I'm begging him right now, through the press conference, if he is that good, and he is a victim of all this some way, somehow, I'm begging you. How many more games do we have left? 8? 8 games left. in the next 8 games, which you ain't going to win many of them, please, I'll listen like a hawk. I'm begging you. Please tell me why. Because there is a difference between the fans and everybody else, it seems. Some people are kind of, I'm not necessarily sure right now. Even Ross Tucker's like, I'm not sure. Okay, help me. Help me understand. If we're making the grandest mistake ever, help me know why. Why is your defense turning on you? Why are they basically giving up on you as a head coach? Why is that possible? Why are you having to answer for these trades that I don't think that you would make? Why do you have... Help me. And I'd love to come to your defense in some way, but I can't defend, we got to coach better, we got to play better. We all got to do better. We just need to do better. No, that just makes me mad.
That means nothing at this point.
It means absolutely nothing. So if the walls are closing in that much and you just don't want to be here, well, then there's nothing I can do then. But if we're making the mistake of our lives, according to Dan Orlovsky over here, please, somebody, anybody, get him to say something other than what he's been saying, because it's mind-numbing, and with every loss, you just get angrier and angrier because it feels like there's really no responsibility being taken. If you just keep saying, yeah, you know what, it's my fault, you're just trying to get through the motions then. I'm going to get to this audio coming up here in a bit. 216-474-0092. I'm serious. Lima put me to the task. I've come up with it. And I will tell you why later. The Giants are example number one why. I'm going to wait until January. I will wait. I hate these press conferences. I hate that I have to talk about them. I hate that we're being accused of low-hanging fruit when we have. There's probably 2 instances in the history of the 9 years this show has been together that we've attacked a press conference. But you and Owen wanted me to do it. I'll throw it right up there. There's the list. It's in the envelope. I haven't unsealed the envelope just yet. In the envelope, in the list, are the list of candidates that I like. You wanted me to compile a list? I compiled a list that's in here.
But how do we get access to that envelope?
When I decide to unseal it. Could it be after the Ravens game? I don't know. Could it be after the Raiders game? I don't know. It's still not after the Jets game. I have my list. You can guess who's on the list. You want to have a little bit of a deposition with me? See if I can give you a straight poker face if you guess a name that's on that list? Go ahead and guess a name that's on that list. Go.
Nick Saban.
No. That was easy. You did that on purpose. But there you go. Do you have a list?
I don't.
You don't have a list.
Well,
you don't work that hard.
Well, I have. Last week I shared, I think, 3 names. The first one that came to mind, just because I'm thinking, you always go the opposite.
I have their bios written and all the reasons why I would consider these guys, and highlighted ones who I'd want at the tippy top.
I can just get all that on ChatGPT.
There's only 6 names here.
So I
have 3 guys I really like. That's how you got to make that decision.
Traditionally in sports, you always go the opposite of what you just had. Mm-hmm. And so the opposite to me of what we've had would be like Brian Flores. Defense, kind of a guy who shoots from the hip. He is considered a figure that is, there's no questioning who's the leader when it comes to Brian Flores. Like when he is he's got his flaws, because we're talking about a guy who's coached in the league before. So obviously there's no perfect there's no Sean Payton, there's no, even Mike Vrabel, I guess you wouldn't say is perfect because he got fired at his last job. But I thought like 3 guys that we've seen in recent years that I thought were going to be sure things. Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, who has come in, and I think instantly we could see him, Mike Vrabel. Mm-hmm. Those are the 3 guys that I thought were obvious. Who is that in this coaching cycle? Who's obvious? I don't think there is one.
There's a few that are in the list, and I will unseal the envelope when it's time. Just like Paul Masson wines, man, with the late, great Orson Welles. They will sow no wine before it's time. 216-474-0092. I got more audio coming up here in a bit. Let me get to... Oh, hell, Tim and Elyria. You're next up on the Fan. Hello.
Hey, good morning, guys. You guys are being way, way too hard on Stefanski. You know, the press conferences don't mean anything. And, you know, it's just, to media guys like you, it means something. But I may be biased because I share the same hairstylist as Kevin, and by all accounts, he's a super nice guy, a big tipper. But I just don't, I think it's meaningless, these press conferences. You need play on the field, not press conferences.
Well, we agree that
you need play on the field,
but they're almost so meaningless that I wonder what is seeping through. Like when we have access to Kevin, he's obviously he could, anybody who criticizes Kevin, and this could be any coach, like Brian Dable, who just got fired, could go one-on-one with any of our callers who call the coaches terrible and then say, why did you do this? This was idiotic. And then 10 minutes later, I think you'd walk out after a couple drinks and be like, oh, yeah, I guess he does know what he's talking about. Yeah. I do think that's obvious. At the same thread, I do think there's more of at a macro level, like how guys operate. And I think there are a lot of questions about who's in charge in that building. And I don't think that's the case in New England. I don't think that's the case in Pittsburgh. I don't think that's the case in San Francisco. I don't think that's the case with the Rams. And I think in Cleveland, we ask hundreds of questions throughout the week about who's responsible for what. And the fact that we don't know shows me the type of delegation of powers and I think a question of leadership
press conferences
around that team.
You got to understand the opportunity that press conferences are, Tim. They're opportunities to get the guys, to get your message out, to do a lot of what you want to do, to make people understand what you're going through. And I think there's ways for them to get. I think there's ways for him to get people to understand without trying to throw his players under the bus. But he doesn't take advantage of those.
Yeah, according to Francois, our hairstylist, Kevin doesn't have a lot of power in the room. That's very frustrating, or in the facility. So he has to go through the motions because it's required. You have to have a press conference. But
I haven't seen him without a hat on in so long, though, Tim. I haven't seen him with he's been wearing it. Maybe now he can't be losing his hair because of the stress of the job.
Don't count it out.
He has gone very gray.
Yeah. But,
it's gone very salt and pepper.
The women like that. They like
it's veteran. It's a veteran look.
And they like to see
Meredith, you're a woman.
Because we all age.
I don't know. Is it true?
The salt and pepper?
Yeah.
That's kind of hot.
You like that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why not?
Veteran look?
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, I'm in my 30s. Like, if you ask maybe Mackenzie, who's, 24, 25, she might have a different opinion.
She has an open mic. Mackenzie.
No, I like it. A little salt and pepper.
Well, there you go.
How old are you, Mackenzie?
I just turned 26.
There you go. She's in her 20s. All right, I got two ladies on the show. I can only go by what the ladies said.
This is a bigger problem, though. I mean, if the ladies like Mackenzie, if the two of you are looking at somebody in that age bracket and you're like, that's the goal, then what hope do college grads have in this day and age in our society? I sound like Scott
None,
Galloway.
Anthony. Absolutely none.
Yeah, it's sad. They can't own a home. They're not happy with their employment situation. It's a very trying times for that generation. Men.
What the F are you talking about? What is your problem?
Do you want? I can do a whole podcast.
What is this?
I can do a whole podcast on it.
Where did this come from?
I worry.
I think he's
I worry about this generation.
He's so scared for guys that are 20 years younger than him that Mackenzie, who is in her 20s, and me, who is in my 30s, that we both prefer guys that are, the late 30s, early 40s, kind of.
I just ask for guys who have hair. I just would prefer hair.
So Mike Tomlin doesn't have hair, so that wouldn't be your go-to. You don't.
I thought Mike Tomlin had hair. You don't have hair?
I think he's completely bald. That's why he's always wearing it.
No, he's got hair.
I don't think he does.
Well, now I'm Googling. All right, back to the phones here. Michael in Dayton, hello.
How you doing today, man?
He's got hair. Look at that picture. There's hair right there. Sorry, Michael. Hold on. Look at that hair.
He's
got hair.
There is.
That's hair. It's not a ton, but that's a decent hairline. What are you talking about? Okay, this is him when he was young. That's a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Now, he's probably lost a lot of hair. I ain't going to lie to you. But that's hair. I mean, look at that.
He's not Marcus Freeman.
You're full of it.
It's not Marcus Freeman.
Marcus Freeman's got a bit of hair.
He's got perfect head of hair.
There's someone else who's lost their hair that I don't really talk about. His name starts with Keith, ends with Britain. Go ahead there, Michael. Go ahead.
Man, first off, man, I am 28 years old. I just want to say, I don't understand how Kevin Stefanski...
Kenzie's not into you, dude.
Is willing...
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. It's distracting.
But no, I just don't understand how he's willing to die on this bridge. I am 28. The last quarterback that was somewhat decent was Derek Anderson. I've never had a quarterback where I'm like, you know what, this guy is good for 2 to 3 years. And it's crazy because, I know Kevin sees that we see this, and he's he just keeps saying, oh, we got to do better. We're going to get him better. But, he gets progressively worse. And it's just, I don't understand why he's willing to let us die on this hill. I know he knows we feel this.
Yeah, okay. I just think if he says, the only thing I can think of, Michael, is that I think he thinks if he says anything, it's just going to make this way worse than what it already is. Now, I don't know how it can be any worse. I mean, good guy, but because if he stands up there, think about this, and this may still happen. I mean, we may still get this if he's guaranteed his job until January. Michael, you bring up a hell of a point, and thank you very much. I want to get to this Watson stuff here in a second. If he gets to a point where he knows it's over at the end of the year, maybe he does. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. You know, the ownership is a very, very tight knit group in the NFL. And he may be spiking his future prospects because owners do like a head coach that does not let the pressure get to them. And on the outside, when he just gives deposition answers, that's stonewalling you. That means I'm not going to let the pressure get to me. You're not going to ruin any future prospects. But he could look at it and go, you know what? You guys are dragging my name through the mud. You guys keep saying all these things about I'm powerless. I got no control of their team. I'm the head coach of this football team. And if he just decides to, that's why, I keep looking at the Mike Tomlin thing that he said and the Arians thing that he said, and it doesn't add up. And people thought I was crazy when I said what I said about Tomlin back then. Now they're all like, yeah, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Look at what these guys say. Even the guy like Mike Tomlin does not care. He's solidified in his position, and if this is the last year, then this is the last year. Bruce Arians is done coaching. He won a Super Bowl. He's done. These guys are saying something, and it stands to reason why maybe not everything's is what it seems. And so if Kevin were to say, yeah, you think I wanted to trade Joe Flacco at the time? That'd be major, major, major news.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And if it's major news and there's still 8 games left, other people have to answer to that. But if he, in the month of January before the Bengals game, go, yeah, you think I really wanted to trade Joe? And we're getting ready to play Joe. I know Joe Burrow thinks he's coming back by the time Thanksgiving comes around. Maybe that's going to be true. But if he just goes, you think I really wanted to trade Joe Flacco at the time and force my young quarterback in there before he was ready? I mean, that's DEF CON. We're coming back into the studio during a vacation for that. Like, that's big stuff. And if he were to do that, I'd go, yeah, why didn't you say it 8 weeks ago? Well, he would look at it and go, I still got a football team. I have to get out there, and I don't want to force them to answer questions that they don't want to answer.
I just think
that would they're 2-7. The season's torpedoed anyway, but you don't want to be responsible for actually torpedoing the season.
I think where one of, and Lance, Coach Riz, has been texting us, and he's talking about how when things were going well, his calmness, right, was an attribute. Right? Like Kevin, the way that he kind of managed situations, that was an attribute. That he wasn't a, fly by the seat of his pants guy, winging it from the hip. That's not him, right? You can't be someone that you're not, for sure. But I do think in any position of leadership, whether it's football or anywhere in life, you got to be the bad guy sometimes. And I don't know that Kevin has it truly in him to be the bad guy. And I think that, God, if Owen was here, we'd be playing a certain clip from Ken Carman about being the bad guy. I think at times you got to be the bad guy.